It was a beautiful sunny June day in Kristiansand, Norway, as the Vesterheim Norwegian American Museum's textile tour waited to board a ferry that would take us to Bardøya Island. And there, I was so excited that we would be able to meet and work with Annemor Sundbo. Annemor is an author, a designer, and a teacher of knitting, spinning, and weaving. Annemor's first book, Everyday Knitting, Treasures from a Rag Pile, recounts her purchase of the Torradal Tweed Factory. When Annemor went to Torradal, she found piles of rags waiting to be shredded and made into stuffing for things like comforters and sleeping bags. Annemor realized that some of the items were Norwegian knitting and showed the different patterns of the various areas of Norway. She purchased the factory and she began to save the samples of Norwegian knitting styles. Annemor raises spelsaw sheep on the island, which are native to Norway and are bred especially for its tough weather conditions. And she has written a new book about those sheep. We were seated at a long table that was covered in fleece that had recently been sheared from her sheep, carded, washed, and dried. We took up our knitting needles and began knitting with the raw fleece in front of us. As I pulled the fleece, I could feel the lanolin beginning to soften my fingers and work into my hands. From time to time, as the fleece we were knitting with ran out, we would have to splice on more fleece and keep knitting. That allowed us to change colors or to go to different textures. I began knitting a small square with just a few stitches and increased to about 20 stitches before I began decreasing. My eventual result is a small square of differing shades and textures of fleece. Outside, when we are done, we can walk around the small island. Families are there on this Sunday and they are picnicking and playing around a small pond. Eventually it's time for us to line up and board our small ferry for our return to Kristiansand. In her studio in Kristiansand, we found mittens piled on a table.
And all of them were knitted in a home industry. And they had this grid in the hand, should protect, not anything evil should pass. And here they had the endless rose, the rose that was for love, and the rosary that was for the rosary to pray. Some of them have been made very nicely, and after being used for a while they have been redone and used for work. But some of them were also made as gifts for boyfriends. And if you should look at the very intimate place to put a secret code, that was under the gusset under the thumb. If it was knitted in a heart, that was a special message.
Tusen takk, or 1,000 thanks to Annemor for sharing her knowledge and enthusiasm with us. We were inspired by Annemor's career, from recycling wool to raising sheep, preserving history and textiles along the way. She told us that when standing in front of the wool shredder, she felt that she was erasing Norwegian history. But, like the Center for Knit and Crochet, Annemor has preserved human history that is documented through knitwear and textiles.